Well, alright, I am going to attempt to build a. Um, I don't really want to call it mid tier gaming PC. 1080p gaming rig, all new parts. Prices are starting to kind of become cheap enough to do this again. Lord knows I built a handful of PCs during the height of the pandemic, and prices mostly for graphics cards, but quite a few things were just astronomical. And to build a rig like this 5 months ago would have cost over $1,300. Well, around that area. Um, so it's kind of nice to be able to do this. This right here, sorry about the focus. This is my first time doing this on stream. Last time I did anything like this on a live stream was like 7 or 8 years ago, building a Palm Pre hack job to get the Palm Pre 2 on Sprint. Anyways, it's a story for another time. But this is my first time building a PC on any kind of a stream. Lord knows in the future I'll try to do this with better lighting and a better environment. But I digress. Anyways, so a buddy of mine wants a PC for his daughter. So I sent him a parts list of something I would do for myself for a 1080p rig. Well, mostly for myself. For a starter rig, it's pretty good. I'm a little bit more particular on my cases. But I already kind of got started earlier today, too. While I was at work with some downtime, I went ahead and got the motherboard and all that prepared. But I figured I would do the rest of it when I got home because I didn't want to get into putting the power supply in and everything else. So real quick, before we get started, I'll just run through the parts list. I got a Musatex MK7 case. I basically choose it because it's, a decent bargain bin case. It's, like right at $70, 5 ARGB fans, dust filters. Build quality isn't, like Corsair level or any of the other huge manufacturers level good, but for bargain bin it's pretty good. It's got a removable glass side panel without thumb screws, which I kind of like. You can just swing it open, so it makes building really kind of nice and easy and getting it out of the PC. Let's put this over there on my bed. Yes, I'm doing this in my bedroom. Sorry if things look kind of out of sort. In here, which I've already got in here, I've got an Asus Prime B550 Wi-Fi edition. Normally, I don't pay the extra money for Wi-Fi stuff, but a lot of people want it. I can understand why. Personally, I go for a little bit higher caliber board. I would rather go for a like in my system, I have a B450 Steel Legend from ASRock. I like a little bit higher quality motherboards with RGB's kind of nice, but it's not a deal breaker. But I like the built-in IO cover and the higher quality MOSFETs and cooling and all that stuff. I am a sucker for MATX builds and boards, so I have the ASRock B450M Steel Legend. In this case, I went with the B550. I know B550s are great for the PCIe 4, Gen 4 and everything, although in this build, won't really be able to leverage PCIe Gen 4 stuff because of the CPU that I'm using, which brings me to... Oh, well, anyways, hold on, before I start talking about the CPU. I do like this, though, because you can go for an A-series board for a budget build. I don't really recommend it, though. There's no ARGB headers. There's only usually 2 DIMM slots. So, there's just... That is super bargain bin motherboards. Whereas B-series, perfect go-between. I'm not really big on the X-series boards. I think for your average gamer, it's kind of overkill and unnecessary. Some people may disagree, but hey, everybody's got their own thing. But I do like Asus motherboards, even though I usually go for ASRock or Gigabyte. Asus is really great. Their RGB The RGB headers and BIOS is really kind of nice. Although you may see me struggle through that later if I actually go through with recording all the flashing of windows and all that stuff. We may just do the build tonight. I don't know. But anyways, I digress. We're going to move on to the bargain bin. Well, I'd like to say bargain bin CPU. I went with the Ryzen 5 40, what is it, the 4600, 4500? I know a lot of people have talked shit about it, and I get it. I mean, you might as well go with a Ryzen 5 3600 or, you know, Ryzen 5000 series. But this, I got brand new off Amazon for less than $100. For less than $100, the only other competing CPU around that price, if you're going to go brand new, is like, you know, the Intel i3 10100F. And I'm sorry, I know this isn't that great and I won't be able to leverage PCIe Gen 4, but I'll take 6 cores, 12 threads over 4 core, 8 thread any day of the week. And honestly, I'm kind of a Team Red fanboy. I don't really like Intel builds. You know, especially prior to Alder Lake, the stock cooler's fugly. I don't like it, and you end up paying more for Intel motherboards, at least until the new Ryzen 7000 series comes out. Looks like the motherboards for those are going to be expensive. Next up, I have the I love these, the Western Digital WD Black. This is the SN770. I know it's not their latest and greatest, but I mean, hey, 1 terabyte, I think, I can't even remember the price for it. I mean, it's probably around $70, I think I got it for. Pretty good drive. I have one in my own system. You know, a lot of people complain about the WD Black drives, like they've had issues with them. I think they're rock solid. I've had problems with other NVMe drives. These ones, my go-to every time. And for the DIMMs, I bought 2 8-gig sticks of Owl or Alloy or YOLO, however anybody wants to say it. 3200 megahertz, nothing fancy, but they are, let me turn this here. If you can tell, they are in white. I've used them several times. Usually rock solid sticks. I probably did 7 or 8 PC builds now with them, and I've only caught 1 bad stick so far. I'm not really going to complain. Actually, I used to have that in my motherboard until I went with some XPG RGB RAM because, you know, all the kids love RGB. Next up, I have the... So all that stuff, as you can tell, I've already put together in the board. It's in the system already. For the bulk storage, let me see here. What did we get? I'm pretty sure we got a 2 terabyte Barracuda drive. Let me see. Yeah, 2 terabyte Barracuda, my go-to every time for bulk storage. Spinny drive. I know a lot of people go straight up, you know, all NVMe. You know, it's kind of expensive, and you know, I just, bulk storage HDDs are so cheap. And I know a lot of people say don't go used. Sometimes I go used in systems. I don't mind. I'm not worried about it. Although I wouldn't do it for a customer. And you know, if the girl that I'm building this for, my son's daughter, if she wants another NVMe or M.2, you know, drive, I mean, she's got another slot down here for it. And plus, I'm talking about the MATX boards. This is only an MATX case. I like them. They're the go between full towers and ITX. I do want to do an ITX build for myself later, but I digress. Next up, power supply. We went for the Aries Gain 750. Was this yeah, this is the modular one. So 80 plus bronze. That's been debated online. I have one of these in my system. I've used them for a lot of builds. Good bang for the buck. All black cables, no ketchup and mustard. I know a lot of people like to go for the EVGAs and other stuff, but you know, these guys were new on the block when I first started using them, and I haven't had any issues with them. I like them, and yeah, so There you go. Kind of funny story is I started building PCs about 2 years ago on my son's Optiplex. I did an Opti build. He wanted a gaming computer, so I got into this, and it's just kind of been all downhill since. But I use a 550 in his system. I was just trying to do this as cheaply as humanly possible. I mean, we're talking height of the pandemic there, and prices were starting to go through the roof. So I got a 9020 Optiplex. I put an RX 570 in it, and you know, I maybe could have got by with the stock power supply, but I went with an aftermarket one. And now his Optiplex is unrecognizable as an Optiplex unless you look at the green motherboard with the Dell symbol and, you know, the proprietary adapters that I got. Well, the adapters for the proprietary motherboard, CPU power, and all that stuff. But I mean, his PC is pretty sweet for an Optiplex. Although I think I got to bring him into a modern platform because right now he has the i5 4570 4-core 4-thread. Best I can do is either a Xeon 4-core 8-thread or an i7. So he needs something new. Either way, all I have to do is swap over his motherboard, CPU, and RAM. He's still fine on the RX 570 for right now, although prices are dropping on used graphics cards. So, I mean, I've really been eyeing some 1070s, some 1080s. Hell, even you can get some RX 590s right now for like, or 5600 XTs, 5700 XTs. You can get them for less than $200 now. Or you can even go brand new. I just got a 6600 XT for my PC for my birthday, and I'm in love with it. As you can tell, I'm very Team Red, so best bang for the buck right now, 1080p gaming, RX 6600. From what I found, unfortunately, unless you're willing to pay like a whole lot of extra money, and even if you are, you can't really find the 6600s and 6600 XTs and the fancy, you know, cases with the fancy backplates and the RGB lighting. There are a few with RGB lightings. I think the MSI Gaming X has the RGB and stuff, but really I'm not willing to pay like 50, 60 extra dollars just for some flashy lights. You still get the same performance for it, but literally bang for the buck, 1080p performance. It doesn't get much more solid than this. I think this was, I want to say right at $200, so like 210, 220. Pretty good build. I've used one before in my other friend's daughter's build, and it worked out fairly well. So that's the pièce de la résistance, or however the fuck you say that. Or fudge. Sorry, in case somebody underage is watching. Also, in addition to the 5 RGB fans that come in this Musitex case, which I actually have used before, but I think that one, yeah, no, that one had 5 fans as well. I've done one other build with this case before, and I really didn't mind the case so much. It doesn't have like rubber grommets and stuff in the cutout areas. Like, oh Jesus, you can't really see. Yeah, there's no rubber grommets right in here and stuff, but it does have cutouts for cable routing, and if you want to, you can vertically mount GPUs in this. And why is that loose? That's interesting. This vertical mount isn't cover isn't in its slots to hold it in place. That's quite interesting. But it's a pretty bang up case. Anyways, in addition to the 5 RGB fans, I have these Ergu neon RGB, ARGB strips, 3 volt or 5 volt 3 pin. These have kind of been a go-to. I have used them in almost every single system. I can't remember who the ones, the company they were that originally made this style of RGB with the covering on it, but I absolutely love it. You can bend them around, place them however you want to around the motherboard. I usually like to put them underneath the graphics card, which you'll see later, but they work out fairly well. Look gorgeous in a system if you like RGB. And of course, I don't think there's an underage gamer today that would want a PC without RGB. I remember when I first built my son's Optiplex, it was in the original ugly ass office PC case, and you know, I think I put like an RGB strip like one that, you know, it was just it was an ARGB strip, 2 strips actually in it with the controller. Oh, those are not captive thumb screws. With the controller to control the RGB, and I put it in the front so you could see through the ventilation on the 9020. But I remember him seeing the 9020 before I actually even put any RGB in it, and just seeing this basic ass black Optiplex, and I was like, "This is your gaming computer," and I just remember seeing him like deflate, like you know, he was going to be embarrassed to tell his friends. But alas, he was still the first one of his friends with a gaming PC. And once I built it, put the little RGB up front, it did look pretty sick as tits, in a sleeper kind of way. And he was fine with that for a while. And then I ended up cutting the side panel to give him an acrylic. And then I got him a new case and transferred it all into a new case. Now it looks as sick as any. I would take it over most pre-builts you get, like the HP Omen and all that other shit that's in a horrible case with no ventilation and whatnot. Although they don't really make too many office PCs now that I would recommend for using to build a budget gaming PC, because all of them have like proprietary power supply sizes and stuff. So a standard ATX power supply won't fit in them, and almost every connection on the motherboard is proprietary. And now they're going even, I could even deal with all that and probably get around it, but now the motherboards are actually like not even a standard size anymore, and they have like the front panel USB built into it to come out of the front of the PC. Like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? I mean, you might as well throw it into a landfill when you're done. So anyways, let's get started here. I got the back panel off, and as you can tell here, it's got a little fan controller and RGB controller for the fans. Decent amount of cable management space here. There's not really a set cabling channel, which I don't really like, but it's a budget case. $70, 5 fans. And so let's see if I can angle the camera a little bit more to see less of me and more of the building here. In the future, I hope to do this a little bit better. And this is going to be hard trying to keep it on camera. I tip my hat to people like Linus Tech Tips and Jay's 2 Cents and Nerd on a Budget and all the other big tech YouTubers, Tech Yes City. I watch them all, and it is definitely a skill to be able to do this on camera. And of course, they've done it a million times over. I'm pretty sure their original streams were probably a lot like this. Eventually, I plan on getting more cameras and better lighting and whatnot. SSD, 2.5-inch tray, which we don't have one of those. There is a full-size slot down here, so you know what, let's go ahead and I will throw that in. That way I can just have that out of the way. I like to try to get as much into the PC without putting the power supply in as I can. Although this is going to be a modular power supply, so that's going to be good. I think it's fully modular. It might be semi-modular. Either way, I mean, if you got a modular power supply, I mean, that's just the bee's knees. I would highly recommend spending the extra money for it, because then you don't have to cram a shit ton of cables in the back panel and try to like crunch it in. Of course, I've got so much lighting and everything in mind. My power supply is semi-modular, but I have cable extensions. I have a fan hub controller because I have 6 fans in mine. I have the whatever the Corsair RGB hub is called. I have just a ton of crap in mine. So let's see here. I can't even remember where I put all the screws for all this. So let me go through. Oh, damn it. Where did I leave those? Did I put them inside the motherboard box? I can't remember. I might have to go dig around for my boxes of screws and such. I thought the motherboard, or no, the case came with a whole bunch of screws, I think. And alas, I don't know where the hell I put them. That's a standoff screw. And the screw for the M.2s. SATA cable, we'll need that. Don't need that yet. Oh, here we go. This is a bag of screws. You are screwed, sir. Always remember to look at the threads of the screws. These are, oh geez, I'm getting old. Let me try real quick here. Okay, yeah. So usually with your cases, you'll get two different kinds of these little tiny screws. You will get coarse thread screws and fine thread screws. Do not fuck around and try to put a fine thread screw in one of these, because you will bungle up the mount holes and everything. And also, don't try to put a coarse thread screw in your standoffs. You will be upset. I promise you. Some people like to put four. Yeah, those are fine thread screws. Some people like to put four screws in. Oh, Jesus, let's just get these all out here. Okay, I'm gonna need. I know some come with a power supply. Yeah, I guess this is gonna ship in the U.S., so I may go ahead and put 4 screws in here. I usually don't. I usually just put 2 for my own personal builds, because, I mean, maybe I pull my stuff apart a lot. So this only has space for 1 in the actual hard drive slot bay, but you can, if you want, put another hard drive on top, which is kind of nice. Or you can put that 2.5-inch SSD in there. Okay, so let me see here. Let me look here. That is gonna line up. Yes. Oh, damn it. My lighting in here sucks. Come on, darn it. Once you get one in, the rest will go nice and easy. I can't find the hole. That sounds like a personal problem. Oh, damn it, come on. Okay, it should be right about... God, I'm gonna laugh at myself later on. Come on. Oh, Jesus. Okay. What? Alright. Let's see something here. There we go. That's lined up mostly. That should have went right in. Huh. I know, dead air is probably not a good thing to be doing on my stream, but alas, I'm not some big YouTuber that makes a bunch of money. What the fuck? I'm wondering if this hole that they've drilled is off. Okay, let's try the middle hole. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, no, what the hell? Okay. Let me get all these cables out of my way for a second. What is going on here? Okay, that's not gonna be good. I see what it is. Okay, so if you look down in here, those little, there's like a little, like a shelf, bent piece of tin or whatever that the hold on. Kind of hard to see on this camera, and I'm not moving the camera all the way down there to see, but there's a little L bend of tin for the hard drive tray where it kind of sits on the hard drive instead of having a caddy, and it's up just a little bit too high, which is in turn putting the holes for the hard drive cage up too high. You know what? Let me pull this out of here. This would be a lot easier if I just pull it out. Let me see. How does this come out of here? Okay. Come on, baby. What the hell? Is it? It's not screwed in anywhere, is it? Yes, it is. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to unscrew the hard drive cage and get to it that way. Sometimes working with these budget PC cases, you have these kind of issues. My favorite screwdriver to build with comes from this little tiny mini ratchet set. We get them at work. This one right here is one of my crappier ones. I broke a couple bits off with it. I mean, I do fix trains, for God's sakes. But it's great because there's a whole bunch of useful bits. It's pocketable. It's not magnetic, but it gets the job done. So, wait, is that? Yeah, 2 screws. And no, I didn't steal it from work. I brought it home from work. Alright. This is going to take me a lot longer than it normally does because I'm on stream. I highly doubt I'm running Windows on this thing tonight. With that said, I don't know about any of you out there if you build PCs for people. It's here, and she comes right up. But I don't charge that much for my builds. I only charge like $100 for my builds. Sometimes less if it's like a super budget build. But you know, don't overcharge for your builds. It's I know the want for it is there. You know, and I have spent sometimes multiple hours, I mean, on builds because some stupid little tech issue, especially, you know, last couple PCs I built was, you know, I load Windows 11 on everything, and at the time Windows 11 was still fairly new, and you know, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go through it now where I'm going to have issues with Windows 11 because, you know, you got to go into the BIOS and shut on or turn on the TPM support and CSM and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, yes, you may spend a bunch of time doing this, and you may spend a bunch of time actually in the build. I mean, I've done stupid things like on my own PC usually. I forgot to remove a standoff on my Corsair 220T case, and this was around Christmas time. I was super stoked. My whole family was finally asleep. I could finally put my PC in my new case. Tore my old PC completely apart. I mean, you don't just do a case swap. It's not as easy as putting in a GPU. And I get it all together and I'm ready to fire it up, and then it starts power cycling. And what did I do? I had left the standoff in a place where it didn't need to be because they came pre-installed, and it was shorting against my motherboard. It took me 3 days to figure that out because I just did not want to take it all back apart. In the end, I had to take it all back apart. But anyways, I know the want to charge your customers more for a PC is high. But here's the deal. when they could get something from, dare I say, Dell, Acer, HP, what are these, or, an from a system integrator or pre-built like CyberPower or whatever else, for less money, they're going to do it, more than likely. Most people, all they see is the RGB lights. They don't understand necessarily, even if you tell them that the hardware you're putting in is better, that the power supply may be better, that it'll be more dependable, that it'll have better airflow, blah, 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 blah. They don't give a shit. When you can get a PC from CyberPower with the same technical specs for less money, you're not gonna, your building means shit to them. Just my philosophy, so don't overcharge for your builds. It's not like you're killing yourself sweating out in the sun or something like that. Now if you're doing like hardline water cooling or something, then yeah. But somebody that's going to buy a hardline water cooled PC is not going to mind paying the extra bucks for good quality that's not going to leak and piss all over the place. Oh great, where did I put those 2 hard drive screws? I love when you can remove a hard drive cage, especially if you don't plan on using hard drives, and especially if you don't have a modular power supply, because all that space can go to putting all your cables in and keeping them out of the way. Speaking of cases, if you ask me, best bang for buck, Corsair. I'm a Corsair whore. I swear to God. Corsair could make a fucking bidet and I would buy it, okay? I think they just make beautiful products, and every PC I've built in a Corsair case has just been a very nice pleasure to build. Alright, I guess... let's not do the power. Let's untangle all these and get everything laid out nice and individual and out of the way. Okay, so USB 3.0 header. This is the SATA for the RGB fans. We've got the HD audio. What else we got in this mess of cables here? This is all my... Oh geez, I gotta find some way to pin that up and out of the way. I don't want it there, so I'll probably route it like that. But these are all my fans, so let's get... What is this? So that's the LED RGB switch. These are all my front I/O. Okay. And this is RGB. RGB for the fans? Motherboard control? Okay. Okay. Yeah, last one I did of this, it didn't, you couldn't do motherboard control. So let's look at real quick. Well, I've got this here. I could either plug it into... You know how I want to do this. I could either plug this into VDG. Oh, that's for gigabyte motherboards. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug this into the motherboard. I'm hoping I have multiple ARGB headers here. I should have checked on that beforehand, I suppose. Let's see what we're looking at here. Front panel. I've got a I've got a 4-point RGB header, or 4-pin RGB header down here. And what do we got? Fucking RGB. Chassis fan, which I don't have to worry about that. Oh man, he's gonna have a bunch of fan headers open. There's another 12-volt RGB header. So I've got two 12-volt RGB headers. Where is my 5-volt 3-pin RGB header? I've been searching. Why can't I find it? I'm gonna feel so stupid when I actually find this damn thing. I've been searching every which way. I know this damn thing says it has ARGB. I don't think there's a single freaking B550 that doesn't. Oof. This is really great. Way to make me ought to be a liar on fucking stream. Okay. Do. Wait. Oh. 5-volt 3-pin. Really? There's only one? Oh, that's not gonna be good. Do I have a 5-volt 3-pin? Oh wait, what's that? Is that what I think it is? What? SDI. Okay. Time to take a look at what I bought here, or what I had my friend buy. Well, he wanted this board. I picked out a different motherboard, and lo and behold, he had to have this one. Because it's got Wi-Fi! Okay, audio features, back panel I/O, USB, wireless and Bluetooth, CPU, chipset, memory, graphics, Ethernet, storage, expansion slots. Where's the... Lovely. So it's just got the one header. Fuck my life. I wonder if I have a splitter somewhere. Shit. Let's see if maybe Ergo is nice enough to include a splitter in here. I know I've been searching because I might be able to daisy chain. I knew you can daisy chain those. Okay, so this is gonna split off for, no, that's just the one. And then this is an extension from one to the other. What is this? This is one that splits off into two. God damn it. I've been searching every region. Always, if RGB is that important to you, always figure that out ahead of time. Shit. And I don't think I have a splitter on mine. Alright, this is going to split off into those. I am going to pause this 1 second. I'm going to pause my stream. I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so after much digging through all my stuff and all, I do not have an RGB splitter, and I only have one RGB port. Now, granted, I could do this to where the fans could just be controlled with the ARG, or the RGB for the fans could just be controlled with the button on the case, but I kind of want everything to be motherboard controlled. So I'm gonna have to order a RGB splitter from Amazon. So I won't be finishing this tonight, which I shouldn't have started it tonight anyway, because I got to go to bed soon anyway. So I think what I will do at this point is I will go ahead and wire up some of the other stuff, and I will just leave this hanging out here. I can go ahead and do all that and then figure out the RGB when I'm done. So first things first, let's get all this RGB crap out of the way. All the extra stuff. Okay, so let me think. I need a male outlet on the one. So I need a female to 2 male outlets, because the female will plug into the board, and then everything else will be behind. Actually, it'll make for a much cleaner build too, because I'll be able to tuck everything behind the back panel. So I think female with a splitter, 2 male outlets that'll go into this and go into the fans. So yeah, that'll work out pretty well. But I will just chuck this stuff in the box for right now. All RGB stuff, and anything I don't need goes in the box. Goodbye. So, let's see, where is the USB 3.0? I like to call it the ugly cable. I will route that through. We'll do this one, and it can tuck around right there. Make sure I'm getting a good. There we go, nice and firm in there. I hate USB 3.0 headers. They are so ugly. Although I don't really mind it over here on this one, because sometimes they're down low. Well, actually, yeah, they're down low and they kind of get in the way of other things. So this is Asus has a really weird motherboard layout, in my opinion. Alright, so that takes care of that. And then all my other stuff. Let's see, where are all my front panel connectors? They are all right over here. So I will route these up through here real quick. And let's see what we got here. HD LED. This is always the most meticulous part. So I'm not sure if I should route it over here or over there. I guess it'll be, because I'm gonna have a lot of SATA cables. Well, no, I'm gonna have one SATA cable coming through here, so that won't be too bad. Let's bring it over here. Should have had him, if I would have had some foresight about this motherboard, I should have looked a little bit closer, but I was in a rush. I should have just had him buy normal 12 volt RGB. That probably would have been a little bit better, but whatever. HD LED power switch. Okay, so where's my power switch? So power switch should be right there. Okay, next I have... What else we got? Reset switch. What the fuck? Wait, no, power button. Let's look at the freaking... I'm getting old, I can't read motherboard stuff. Okay, let's see here. Do. Front panel. Oh shit. Front panel. Where was that? USB 2.0 front panel. All this stuff with the front panel. Here we go. Front panel. So, I was right. Power switch goes right here. Alright. And then below the power switch is, directly below that is reset. So reset. Ground goes the other way. Let's put that on first. Oh, I hate this part. Oh, come on, biznatch. And there we go. So that takes care of those two. Even though it's kind of fugly. Next up, what do we got? HD LED. Positive on the left, negative on the right. So, right there, like that. And above it, power LED, positive on the left, negative on the right. Let's do negative first. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, God, I gotta get better lighting in this room. And one. And oh, come on. I hate front panel I/O. Alright. And a positive on the left. Okay. Not too bad looking. Won't look too bad because I'll tuck it away and it'll mostly be under the GPU anyway. So that's not too ungodly bad. Let's see, what do we got next here? Let's go ahead and break out the power supply. Just 7. And I may just bolt the power supply in for tonight and do the cabling and all tomorrow. And the box on this kind of lies. It is not modular. It is semi-modular. So, your your 24-pin power. Aries game always comes with a power adapter tester. So your power is fixed already. Molex is fixed already. SATA power and CPU is all fixed. Your PCIe and HDD SATAs, if you need any more, are not fixed. So I'm basically only going to have to install 2 cables on the semi-modular side of it. I always go on these let's turn this on these. I always go fan down. Actually, on my case, I have fan up because the Corsair case is vented at the top, and it was easier for my cable management to do it that way. But normally, I always go fan down on these, especially if the basement isn't ventilated at the top. In my case, it's not really a big deal. It kind of just gets exhausted right out the other side anyway, and my graphics card is far enough from that it really doesn't affect it at all. So slide this into place here. There we go. And some more of these coarse threaded screws. One goes right here. Let me make sure I'm all lined up right here. And grab another coarse threaded one right here. Yeah, some of these you'll find you'll be wondering, like, why are the holes, in strange places? And sometimes they just have like a little like half moon cutout for power supplies instead of like a full cutout for them, and that's fine. It's just the manufacturer's different ways to do it. They all got different mount hole locations usually, but still all good. So long as you can get 4 anchor points, all is good. Did I have to go 750 on the wattage on this? No. But I always tend to go a little overkill on power supplies because maybe you want to put a more power hungry graphics card in later, or CPU. 750 should be good for everything up to like maybe a 3070, and I don't know, Alder Lake CPUs are pretty power hungry, but for most AMD builds you should be good up to like a RTX 3070 or 6700 XT. Once you're getting into like the 3080s, 6800 XTs, 3090s, stuff like that, you may want to go big boy and do like a 1000 watt power supply. I really could have got away with like a 550 or a 600 watt, but I didn't want to do that because this PC is going to be probably used for a couple years for this girl, and in case maybe she wants to have somebody she knows slap in a different graphics card or something like that. I would rather be safe than sorry. And now I think I'm figuring out why they didn't. Man, if I had a PCIe riser for this, I would totally love to do a vertical mount. And why won't this go in? They left it hanging for whatever reason, and it's driving me insane. What the hell's going on here? There we go. Yes, okay. So whoever in China put this case together kind of did a little rush job. Was like, no sir, I know, I'm tired of building cases for the day. It's okay if that little piece is hanging. Whoever gets it in America can fix it. Come on. A lot of times with these Chinese manufactured cases, you got to kind of do a little attitude adjustment on things. And now that's in place. And with that, oh wait, what the heck was that? Was that my, oh shit, my HD audio. Forgot to line that up. HD audio, where we got here? HD audio. That's got to be it right there. Okay, so for that, I think I'm going to come out over here in the second cutout. Try not to make your cables all crossing over each other. I'm trying to go up underneath the all the fan cables in the back. I don't like a mess of cables. These you can always tell how they go on because you can look at the blank spot on there, and then you look at the blank spot where it's got to be put on the HD audio. And in this case, it will go on the blank one. It will go on like so.
Sorry, the max volume is only 10. So, what level do you want to set it to?
Well, apparently Google picked up that somebody was talking to him. That's funny. Oh, what the hell? Why did that not? What the hell? Okay, so 3. And then on the bottom. God, that feels funky going on. I don't like the way that feels, but it's all lined up. Okay, there we go. That's secure. It just looks kind of weird. I hate some of these cheaper cases leave ketchup and mustard right there. It's kind of hard to see at this point. Yeah, there you go. So, I hate that, but what are you going to do? $70 for a case. So, and now it's kind of getting dark in here and everything. So, I think I'm going to kill this for the night and come back at it tomorrow. I'm going to, or maybe the next day. I'll probably just go ahead and build it and then install the RGB splitter right before I finish. But I'll go ahead and build it and then I can fix the RGB stuff later. In the meantime, it'll work with the fans on button control, and the other lighting will work. I'll figure all the rest of that routing out. But for tonight, I gotta kill this. My kids gotta sleep, so I will call this a night.